In today's class, we will be discussing about tuberculosis, a very common topic in community. Also, you have studied in detail regarding tuberculosis, and you can consider this class as a revision for your previous studies. Maybe in medical surgical nursing, also you might have studied this particular topic. So it's very clear topic for all of you. But for a revision and to cover the topic in our pediatric nursing, I will be discussing about tuberculosis. So it's very clear tuberculosis, it's a mycobacterium tuberculosis is the causative organism for tuberculosis. And regarding the tuberculosis, it is an infectious disease usually caused by mycobacterium tuberculosis bacteria. It's very clear. And tuberculosis generally affects the lungs but can also affect other parts of the body. So primarily it is affected, and the complications we are looking for with the lungs and other tissues, and but also it can affect different body parts like brain, even brain it can affect. And most infections show no symptoms, in which case is known as latent tuber. So if it is with no symptoms, the condition is known as latent tuber. Regarding the incidence, according to ICMR survey in India, the incidence is 1 in 50. So that much incidence is there regarding tuberculosis in our country. Regarding the etiology, already we know what is the causative organism, that is Mycobacterium tuberculosis bacteria. It is an acid-fast bacillus. And some factors are increasing the incidence. Even though the factor is very clear, etiological factor is very clear, some factors favor the incidence of tuberculosis. So it can be the hereditary, because it can alter some immunity in some people, and there is susceptibility for tuberculosis, that is regarding the hereditary. And sex, that is later childhood and adolescent, higher in girls than in boys. And regarding the age, when the immunity level is very low, especially in infants and newborn, when there is a household contact with the tuberculosis, the chance of getting tuberculosis is high. And stress states, when the person is under progressing through any status, like stress status, like injury, any serious injury, undernutrition, emotional stress, these all are other some of the factors which leads to tuberculosis. And it favors the infection when there is intercurrent infections, like the person is suffering from HIV or after measles incidents, there is high chance of getting this tuberculosis, because these all conditions, there will be immune status will be less comparing to an healthy person. So these are the factors which leads to tuberculosis. Even the etiological factor is mycobacterium tuberculosis. So regarding the pathophysiology, source of infection, especially in a child, is a household member or any frequent visitor of the household with affected TB. Then transmission of the organism occurs when the child inhales micro droplets into the respiratory tract after someone has coughed or sneezed. So droplet infection, this is a droplet infection, and with the micro droplets after coughing or sneezing, it enters our respiratory tract. Although lung is the most frequent portal of entry in humans, the organism Mycobacterium bovis can be ingested via infected milk. So there is another chance of getting transmission can occur through oral route when the infected milk is consumed by the child. So when the Mycobacterium tuberculosis droplet is inhaled, it passes down the bronchial tree, it implants in either a bronchiole or alveolus and starts to multiply. So what happens is, when the droplet is entering through respiratory tract, it passes through the tract and it lodges in any part of the lower respiratory tract like bronchiole or alveoli, and there it starts slowly multiplication. So this is regarding the transmission of tuberculosis and how it enters and starts multiplying. So when this is starting multiplying, what happens is uh, the epithelial cells and or the defense mechanism of our body will be initiated, and it will be covered by the epithelial cells. So epithelial cells surround and encapsulate the multiplying bacilli in an attempt to wall off the invading organism, and this forms the typical tubercle. So, typical tubercle, it is nothing but when the organism is entering and lodging in some part of respiratory tract, it will be encapsulated by our strong body immune cells. And inside that particular capsule, the tubercle will be live for so many years. So, when the person is with the tuberculosis and when the person is undergoing some stress factors, maybe injury or after some infection, or when the person is with HIV, this tubercle which is already formed, that is a typical tubercle which is formed in our body, will be breaking this capsulation, or encapsulated cells uh, will be broken down, and the microorganism will be leaving this tubercle. And when the person is coughing and sneezing, this tubercle slowly it will be spreading throughout the lungs. So this is about the pathophysiology of tuberculosis. മനസ്സിലായെന്ന് വിചാരിക്കുന്നു. ട്യൂബർക്കിൾ എൻ്റർ ചെയ്തു, അതിനെ സറൗണ്ട് ചെയ്ത് നമ്മൾ നോർമൽ സെൽസ് അലൈൻ ചെയ്യും, ഒരു ക്യാപ്സ്യൂൾ ഫോം ചെയ്യും. പക്ഷേ ഈ ട്യൂബർക്കിളിൻ്റെ പ്രത്യേകത എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, മൈക്കോബാക്ടീരിയത്തിൻ്റെ പ്രത്യേകത എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, ഈ ട്യൂബർക്കിളിൻ്റെ ഉള്ളിൽ അവർക്ക് വർഷങ്ങളോളം ജീവിക്കാനുള്ള കപ്പാസിറ്റി ഉണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ എന്ത് സംഭവിക്കും? നമ്മളുടെ ഇമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റി ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു സ്റ്റേറ്റസിൽ കുറഞ്ഞു പോകുന്ന സമയത്ത് ഈ സെൽസിൻ്റെ പ്രൊട്ടക്ഷൻ ബ്രേക്ക് ചെയ്ത് ട്യൂബർക്ലോസിസ് ബാക്ടീരിയ വിൽ കം ഔട്ട്. സോ നമ്മൾ പതുക്കെ ശ്വാസം വലിക്കുന്നതോ കഫ് ചെയ്യുന്നതോ സ്നീസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതോ ആയ സമയത്ത് ഒരു ആൽവിയോളസിൽ നിന്ന് അടുത്ത ആൽവിയോളസിലേക്കായി പതുക്കെ 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 പേഷ്യൻറ്റിൻ്റെ ഫുൾ ലങ്സിലേക്ക് അത് സ്പ്രെഡ് ചെയ്യും. ആൻഡ് ദ പേഴ്സൺ വിൽ ബി പ്രസൻറ്റിംഗ് മാനിഫെസ്റ്റേഷൻസ് വെൻ ദാറ്റ് മച്ച് സ്പ്രെഡ് ഇസ് ഒക്കറിങ്. സോ ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് അബൌട്ട് ദ tuberculosis pathophysiology. Next we can say the clinical manifestation. Initially the patient may not be showing the symptoms when the person is with the tubercle, and when the person is undergoing some immune changes, the person will be getting the spread of infection and the manifestations will be starting. It can be fever, malaise, anorexia, weight loss, cough, aching pain, tightness of chest, hemoptysis, crackles, weakness and pallor. So these are some of the clinical manifestations which can be noticed. And in children we can say that weight loss will be more and undernutrition will be there, and we have to see the chest for other manifestations of respiratory difficulty also. Next is about the diagnostic evaluation. History collection can be done. Any any personal contact with a TB patient has occurred, that we have to rule out, and we can monitor the symptoms like weight loss or tiredness. These all things can be collected from the history. Physical examination can be done, and tuberculin test is helping to rule out the condition. Supportive evidences can be taken from radiological studies and bacteriological examination. The sputum and other secretions can be sent for the identification of organism in the specimen. Management, that is anti-tuberculosis drugs we are giving, and usually the DOTS and other programs are there to prevent the complications with the management of medicines. So first line drugs which usually we do for children are isoniazid, rifampin, then pyrazinamide, ethambutol and streptomycin. And the second line drugs are cyclozine, kanamycin, ethionamide, capromycin. Third line drugs are quinolones, amikacin, ampicillin, ciprofloxacin. So these are the management. And next is very importantly, we have to monitor on the preventive measures. So the children should be away from any contact with the tuberculosis and the Mycobacterium bovis. That is another point. So anyway, when the milk is consumed, it should be pasteurized milk to prevent the contamination of Mycobacterium bovis in the drinking milk, that is also another thing. And we have to monitor the weight of the child to see any undernutrition or any other anything. And also the infection should be treated properly, and healthy diet should be provided to the child in order to prevent the immunity alterations in the children. So that's about the prevention. And nursing management: ineffective airway clearance related to inflammation of lungs, activity intolerance related to imbalance between oxygen supply and demand, imbalanced nutrition leads to related to inadequate intake of food. So this can be considered as a revision of whatever things you have studied in the second year, because tuberculosis is usually in detail we will be studying in the community health nursing, but also it is included in pediatric nursing. So thank you for kind listening. Thank you very much.